it's interesting, all of us have these cards, I think, sitting on our table, and these urban age statistics, which many of us have seen now, that talk about, well, 70% of the world's population will be urban by 2050. I question these statistics in terms of the terms they use. Because I think it's important, if we're going to have this discussion, to understand what this word urban means. Because when I look around, not just in Mumbai, but in many cities around the world, what I see is not so much urban growth as much as suburban growth. So if you think, I mean, this card says, well, 10% of the world was an urban population in 1900. Well, in 1900, whether you think about Tokyo or you think about Paris, these were places with a tremendous amount of public connective tissue. What I mean by that is people walked to places, you could actually have a kind of sense of livability that actually you can find more probably in small town India today than you can find in large cities in India today. And I don't think when we talk about suburban growth that you can limit that only to single family homes and villas. A lot of the development you see happening in this city, for instance, but you see it happening in virtually every major city, especially in the developing world, Sao Paulo, Shanghai, are kind of vertical suburbs where you have luxury towers gated off with boundary walls, where you can only get in and out by car. So of course the commute is 3 hours because there is no sense of the basics of what makes a great city great, which is public transport, public space, and public housing, and especially mixed income housing and mixed income neighborhoods, as opposed to the level of social segregation that, I mean, I was born in India, so I'm an AABCD, right? So I'm all right, and I've actually seen the level of social segregation in this country magnify by many, many times over the course of my lifetime. In terms of how much income groups are separating themselves from each other, and the extent to which it's not just a question of whether, for instance, we need a public transport system in a city like Mumbai. Of course we do. But the question is that some kind of an idea just for poor people to get around? Or is it actually an idea about how we're all going to get around and move around in a city? Just like, you know, we have a city where Mike Bloomberg, one of the richest people in the world, uses the subway every day. And I think that sense of connective tissue has to be part of this discussion, whether we're talking about existing cities like Mumbai or new cities in terms of the experiments that Abhishek and others brought up. Because I think that is essential to the idea of urban.